My dear friends, today I want to speak to you about a truth that often remains hidden behind our daily struggles, a truth that demands our deepest reflection. Many of us are taught to fear death. We are told it is the end, the unknown, the great silence. But let me tell you, death is not what you should fear. Death is inevitable. It is a natural law, written into the universe itself. It comes for kings and for farmers, for scientists and for soldiers. It is not selective, it does not discriminate. Death is, in its own way, a final celebration of life lived. What you should truly fear is something else, something far more dangerous than death. You should fear weakness, not the weakness of the body, but the weakness of spirit. Fear the moments when you surrender your dreams to doubt. Fear the times when you silence your own voice because of the noise around you. Fear the days when you allow fear itself to chain your wings. It is weakness that robs you of your potential. It is weakness that blinds you to your own greatness. It is weakness that tells you you cannot. When your heart shouts, you must. Throughout history, the people who changed the world were not the ones who lived the longest. They were the ones who refused to be weak. They faced storms, they fell, they rose again. They did not allow the weight of fear to crush their courage. They knew that one strong heart can ignite 1,000 others. You too have that strength within you. It is not found in muscles or medals. It is found in perseverance, in hope, and in an unbreakable spirit. When you face failures, and you will do not shrink back. When the world doubts you and it will, do not let it plant seeds of fear in your mind. Stand tall, for it is better to live one day as a lion than 100 years as a sheep. Death has always been a subject that stirs emotions deep within the human soul. From the moment we become aware of our existence, we are taught, either silently or through experience, that death is something dark, something to dread, something final and fearsome. Yet if we look closely, if we observe the rhythms of nature and the journeys of all living things, we will realize that death is not an enemy. It is not a villain waiting to end our dreams. Death is, in truth, a natural companion to life, a silent witness to all that we do, patiently awaiting its turn to complete the cycle. To fear death is to misunderstand life itself. In every sunrise and sunset, in the changing of the seasons, in the falling of a leaf and the birth of a new flower, death and life coexist. Without death, there would be no space for new beginnings. Without the ending of one chapter, no new stories could be written. It is death that makes life precious. It is the awareness of our mortality that gives urgency to our dreams and meaning to our moments. Imagine a world where no one ever died. Would we value time? Would we cherish our relationships? Would we push ourselves to achieve greatness? It is the certainty of an ending that makes the journey so beautiful. We must shift our perspective. Death is not the destruction of life. It is a transformation. Just as water evaporates into the air or a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, death too is a passage into something beyond our sight. Great civilizations, visionary leaders, humble workers all have come and gone. Yet their spirit, their contribution, their dreams live on. Death may end a life, but it can never end a legacy. It can never erase the ripples we create in the hearts and minds of others. Living in fear of death drains the joy from living. It makes us timid, hesitant, always holding back, worrying about what we cannot control. But those who embrace the reality of death live differently. They laugh louder, love deeper, dream bigger. They do not waste time on trivial fears or small resentments. They understand that every breath is a gift, every second an opportunity to build something that will outlive their own time on earth. The greatest architects of human progress were not those who clung desperately to life, but those who accepted death as a part of life and chose to live fearlessly in the face of it. When we stop fearing death, we start respecting life. We learn to prioritize what truly matters: kindness, courage, innovation, compassion. We find the strength to rise after failures, knowing that every setback is temporary, but the impact of perseverance can be eternal. We no longer measure life by its length, but by its depth. One day lived with purpose, with full devotion, is far greater than 100 years spent in fear and hesitation. Our ancestors gazed at the stars not because they feared death, but because they dreamed beyond it. They built monuments, created art, wrote philosophies, and discovered sciences not to escape death, but to leave a light for future generations to follow. Every life has a flame, and death is merely the moment when that flame, instead of extinguishing, passes its warmth and light to those who come after. Thus, let us not bow before death in fear. Let us walk forward with heads held high, understanding that death is simply a reminder. Live so well that even in your absence, your presence remains. Let death find you not hiding, not trembling, but building, dreaming, giving, and inspiring until your last breath becomes a beacon, not a shadow, in the lives you touch in every journey of life. The greatest battles are not fought in distant lands or towering arenas. They are fought silently within the depths of the human heart and mind. We are often taught to fear external dangers, accidents, failures, losses, but the real enemy is far more subtle and far more dangerous. It is the weakness of spirit, the quiet surrender to fear, doubt, and hopelessness that we must truly guard against. The outer challenges may strike at us, but it is the collapse within that ultimately defeats us. Weakness of spirit does not announce itself with a loud sound. It begins with small whispers: "You are not good enough. You cannot succeed. You are alone." These whispers, if not challenged, grow into chains. They bind our dreams, weigh down our ambitions, and dim the light of our potential. When we accept these doubts as truths, we do not need an external force to stop us. We stop ourselves. The strongest walls that imprison us are not built from stone, but from fear. Throughout history, it is not the absence of difficulties that created great achievers. Every successful individual faced storms. They failed, they were mocked, they were misunderstood. But what set them apart was their refusal to let their spirit weaken. They protected their dreams fiercely, even when the world around them saw nothing but impossibility. They understood that external obstacles can be overcome with effort, but once the spirit breaks, rebuilding it is much harder. Weakness of spirit is dangerous because it is invisible. It does not always show signs of defeat. A person may walk, talk, and work like everyone else, but inside they may have given up. They may have decided, quietly and without protest, that greatness is not for them. They settle for less, not because they are incapable, but because they have been convinced sometimes by others, sometimes by their own doubts that they are not meant to soar. The tragedy is not in losing a battle. It is in choosing not to fight at all. Protecting the spirit requires courage, daily and deliberate. It requires feeding the mind with hope when everything seems lost, speaking words of strength when weakness feels natural, and standing tall even when your knees want to buckle. Every time you choose to believe in your vision, even when no results are visible, you make your spirit stronger. Every time you act with faith despite your fear, you armor your heart against defeat. True strength is not about never falling. It is about rising every time you fall, stronger and wiser. The human spirit is capable of miracles when it refuses to be weakened. It can move mountains of adversity. It can bridge oceans of despair. It can light up the darkest nights. But it must be guarded, nurtured, and protected with the greatest care. Negative words, failure, rejection, these are tests, not sentences. If you meet them with resilience, they lose their power. But if you meet them with weakness, they multiply and take over. Every individual is born with a treasure inside a unique light that the world needs. Weakness of spirit hides that light. Strength reveals it. Do not let temporary setbacks dim your brilliance. Do not allow the doubts of others to define your destiny. Fear the moment you let your dreams rust in the corner of your mind more than you fear any external defeat. The heart that refuses to weaken, even under the heaviest storms, eventually commands the winds themselves. The real danger, therefore, is not in losing a race or missing an opportunity. It is in letting your spirit believe that it is powerless. A spirit that knows its worth, that believes in its purpose, can achieve wonders no one thought possible. Guard it fiercely, for it is the source of every victory you will ever claim. Every human being is born with immense potential. Each life carries within it the seeds of greatness, the capacity to create, to inspire, to transform the world in ways that may seem unimaginable. Yet, history and daily life show us that not everyone fulfills this potential. The reason is not because they lack talent, resources, or opportunities alone. It is because weakness, that quiet, creeping force, steals from them what is most precious, their courage to act, to dream, and to persevere. Weakness does not arrive suddenly. It enters in small moments of hesitation, in brief encounters with fear, in the acceptance of small defeats. At first, it may seem harmless, a missed opportunity, an ignored calling, a decision to wait for a better time. But over days, months, and years, this weakness becomes a habit. It grows roots deep into the mind and heart, making excuses seem like wisdom and surrender seem like prudence. And before one realizes it, the vast ocean of possibilities that once lay before them becomes a shrinking puddle of what might have been. Potential is not a guarantee. It is a promise waiting to be claimed. Without courage, potential remains trapped within, like a beautiful melody that is never sung, or a grand invention that remains forever in the mind. Courage is the bridge between who we are and who we could become. It is courage that drives someone to take the first uncertain step, to speak out when it would be easier to stay silent, to stand tall after repeated failures when others would have long given up. Weakness breaks this bridge. It convinces a person that the journey is too long, the dream too big, the obstacles too strong. Weakness makes us small, not because we are small, but because it blinds us to our own strength. It shrinks our vision. It tells us to dream not too boldly, to love not too deeply, to try not too passionately. It replaces the vibrant energy of life with a cautious, fearful existence. The tragedy is not in dreaming too big and failing. The real tragedy is in dreaming too small and succeeding. There are many people who possess great talents, singers who never sing, writers who never write, leaders who never lead. They are not defeated by the outside world. They are defeated by the inner acceptance of weakness. A single failure makes them doubt their entire journey. A single criticism makes them abandon their voice. Weakness whispers, "You are not meant for greatness," and too often that whisper is obeyed. To protect your courage is to protect your destiny. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the determination to act despite fear. It is knowing that failure is possible, but trying anyway because the value of the effort is greater than the fear of defeat. Courage ignites the potential within. It challenges weakness at every turn and says, "I will not be defined by fear." Each time you choose courage over weakness, you reclaim a piece of your true self. Each time you rise after falling, you carve a path through doubt and darkness for others to follow. The world does not need more people who live safely in the shadows of their fears. It needs people who dare to step into the light, who are willing to face the storm with open arms, knowing that even if they fall, their effort itself lights a beacon for others. Weakness may attempt to steal your potential and your courage, but it cannot succeed unless you allow it. Strength is a choice. Courage is a decision. Every day offers you the chance to either shrink or rise, to either retreat into comfort or advance into greatness. Choose to protect your potential. Choose to guard your courage fiercely, for they are the twin flames that will light your journey toward a life of meaning, achievement, and inspiration. Strength is often misunderstood. Many people believe it is found in physical power, in wealth, in loud voices, or in commanding authority over others. But true strength, the kind that endures the tests of life and touches the world in lasting ways, is born not from what is seen, but from what is felt deep inside. It is rooted in perseverance and hope, two silent, steady forces that carry individuals across the most impossible distances and through the harshest storms. Perseverance is the quiet determination to move forward, even when progress is invisible, even when failure seems constant. It is easy to feel strong when the path is clear and the victories are frequent. But the true measure of strength appears when the road is uncertain, when every step feels heavier than the last, and when giving up seems like the easier choice. Those who persevere understand a powerful truth. Success is not reserved for the most talented or the most fortunate. It is reserved for those who refuse to stop. Every great story of achievement is a story of perseverance, of someone who kept going when others thought it was impossible. Hope is the light that fuels perseverance. It is not blind optimism or empty wishing. Hope is a deliberate choice to believe that no matter how dark today may seem, tomorrow holds the possibility of change, of growth, of victory. Hope whispers, "Keep going," when the world screams, "Give up." It strengthens the spirit when logic says the battle is lost. Without hope, perseverance would wither. Without perseverance, hope would remain only a dream. Together, they create an unstoppable force that can transform failure into triumph and adversity into opportunity. In life, challenges will not ask for permission before they arrive. Loss, disappointment, rejection, and hardship will come to everyone, no matter how prepared or talented they may be. It is in these moments that the real strength of a person is revealed. Some will be broken by the weight of difficulty, but others, armed with perseverance and hope, will bend but not break. They will use the storms to grow stronger, to become wiser, and to deepen their understanding of their own limitless capabilities. Strength built on perseverance and hope does not boast. It does not seek applause. It is humble, patient, and enduring. It shines brightest when no one is watching. It builds character, forges resilience, and teaches humility. Those who possess this strength do not need to conquer others. They conquer themselves, their fears, their doubts, their impatience. And by doing so, they become a source of light for everyone around them. The world we admire today was shaped by those who chose perseverance and hope over despair and surrender. Scientists who failed 1,000 times before discovering a breakthrough, leaders who endured ridicule before inspiring change, artists who faced countless rejections before their work touched millions. All of them built their legacies not on sudden success, but on tireless perseverance and unwavering hope. There will be times when even your best efforts seem to yield no result. There will be moments when you question whether your dreams are too big, whether your journey is worth the sacrifices. In these moments, remember, strength is not the absence of difficulty, but the refusal to be defeated by it. Every step taken with perseverance and every dream protected by hope brings you closer to the person you are meant to be. True strength cannot be gifted by others or inherited by birth. It must be forged within, day by day, decision by decision. And once it is built, it becomes an unshakable foundation upon which you can stand tall, no matter how fierce the winds of life may blow. Life is often mistakenly measured by numbers. People count the years they have lived, the possessions they have gathered, the accolades they have received. But the true measure of a life is not found in its length or in its material accumulation. It is found in its depth, in its courage, and in the fearless way it touches the world around it. A single moment of great courage can leave a deeper mark on the world than a lifetime of quiet existence. True greatness is not determined by how long we live, but by how bravely we live. Courage transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary legacies. It is courage that compels a person to stand up for what is right even when they stand alone. It is courage that drives someone to dream when circumstances demand surrender. It is courage that fuels every great act of discovery, of invention, of love, and of sacrifice. Without courage, years pass quietly, uneventfully, like a river flowing without purpose. But when courage enters a life, even a single day becomes powerful, unforgettable, eternal. History remembers those who dared, not those who merely lasted. It remembers the thinkers who questioned, the leaders who challenged, the artists who imagined beyond the accepted norms. Many of them lived short lives, but their flames burned so brightly that centuries later, we still feel their warmth. Their courage to act, to believe, and to persist gave their lives a weight that time alone could never provide. It was not the number of their days, but the intensity of their living that made them timeless. Living courageously does not mean seeking danger for its own sake. It means refusing to let fear dictate the course of your life. It means daring to love even when loss is possible. It means speaking the truth even when silence would be safer. It means pushing forward when the outcome is uncertain, trusting that even if you fail while daring greatly. Every courageous choice, no matter how small, adds richness to life. Every moment of bravery, even unseen by others, makes the spirit stronger and the life more meaningful. There are many who live long but leave little behind. Their days are filled with caution, their dreams wrapped tightly and placed on high shelves, untouched. They may avoid risk, but in doing so, they also avoid the fullness of life. Life without courage becomes mere survival, a repetition of days without the spark of meaning. But those who live with courage, no matter how brief their time, experience a life filled with purpose. They plant seeds that grow long after they are gone. Their impact echoes in the hearts they touch and the minds they awaken. Every person is given a certain number of breaths, but it is what you do between those breaths that defines who you are. Will you be remembered for playing it safe, or for daring to follow the call of your heart? Will your story be one of hesitation or of boldness? You have within you the power to create a life that is not just long, but large in its significance, rich in its contributions, and beautiful in its courage. The legacy you leave is not written in the number of years you live, but in the number of lives you inspire. Courage turns fleeting moments into lasting monuments. It shapes not just the course of your own life, but the lives of those who come after you. To live with courage is to write your story in bold strokes, leaving behind not just memories, but a beacon that others can follow. Every person who walks this earth knows that one day their journey will end. This truth is unavoidable, but what many fail to realize is that while death may end a life, it cannot touch the strength of character built during that life. The true victory over death does not come from escaping it, for none can but from building a character so strong, so noble, that even death cannot erase its influence. Strength of character is the ultimate triumph, the everlasting footprint that remains long after the body has returned to dust. Character is not formed in comfort. It is forged in adversity. It is tested in moments when choices must be made between easy wrongs and difficult rights. It is revealed when no one is watching, when actions are guided not by applause, but by inner values. Strength of character is the quiet force that holds a person upright when the winds of temptation, fear, and despair blow fiercest. It is invisible to the eye, but its impact can be seen in every life it touches, every heart it inspires. Those who build their lives around wealth, fame, or temporary power often find that these things die long before they do. Riches are spent, names are forgotten, power fades with time. But the strength of character, the honesty, compassion, courage, humility, and resilience a person shows becomes a living memory. It is passed from generation to generation, through stories, through lessons, through the silent shaping of souls who never even met them, but are better because of them. A person of strong character stands firm even when the world seems to collapse. They do not bend their values for convenience. They do not abandon their principles when fear knocks at the door. Their life becomes a light in dark times, a beacon for those who struggle, a reminder that goodness still exists even in the midst of chaos. And when they leave this world, they leave behind more than memories. They leave behind a spirit that continues to guide, to strengthen, and to uplift others. Strength of character does not make life easier. It makes life meaningful. It demands sacrifices, enduring pain without losing kindness, facing betrayal without losing trust, and standing for truth even when it isolates. But every test of character is an opportunity to rise above the transient worries of life and build something permanent. Each decision to act with integrity strengthens the foundation of a legacy that no storm, no time, no death can wash away. Ultimately, the victory we seek is not over death itself, but over the fear of death, the fear that our existence will end without meaning. When a person lives with strength of character, they defeat that fear completely. They know that their impact will continue, not because of grand monuments or grand titles, but because of the lives they touched, the ideals they upheld, and the courage they displayed. Every day offers a new chance to build this invisible monument. It is not about perfection. It is about persistence. It is about choosing kindness when anger is easier, honesty when deception seems safer, courage when fear feels overwhelming. Each small act of integrity, each quiet moment of compassion, each brave stand for justice adds another stone to the edifice of character that will outlast even death itself. Thus, death, though inevitable, is not victorious over those who have lived with strength of character. Their light does not flicker out. It shines brighter with time, carried forward in the lives they have touched, in the dreams they have inspired, and in the courage they have awakened in others.